Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching this. My name is Marcus Octavius, and you are in the Foxhole. I apologize for my appearance. It's been a rather busy day. I've been ripping and running, trying to get some errands done, doing a little grocery shopping, and things of the like. And unfortunately, and at the recording of this show, I had just gotten back from doing a favor for my lovely girlfriend who puts up with my shenanigans, including this very thing right here. So I figured it would be best to go ahead and not delay you guys any longer. As usual, the usual amount of things, the classes, the new intro, and the live class are all on the way. Please stay patient with me. Please stay tuned, and please hold steady. On a personal note, here in Greenville, South Carolina, the protests sort of died down for a time. Until today, there was a rather large one, and unfortunately, there were anti-protesters there as well, and they were unfortunately very, very armed. So again, if you decide to go out and protest, and I know some of you do, please be safe, please be careful, please remember that there is a purpose to why everybody is out there doing something, and maybe if we're all lucky, we can get through this thing together and get to brighter times. So let's get down to it. Let's get to the list. Men at Work, Oingo Boingo, Peter Gabriel, Kitchens of Distinction, and The Cure are all back in the Foxhole. And they are joined this week by an unusual collection of artists, as usual. The usual band of goth rock and people of that particular nature. But I also decided to throw a little electronic in here in the form of Leeds, England's own Utah Saints, electronica band that made quite a few waves, an electronic duo to boot, on top of releasing 2 albums, 1 EP, and 14 singles of note. Apparently both gentlemen are DJs or people who DJ at local bars and clubs in the England area. They came across my pathway in 1991, 1992, and I've always been tickled by them ever since. They have made an appearance on the Foxhole before. I decided to give them a rundown treatment. They've also had a number of remixes. They also have film credits, video game credits. One of their most famous songs is actually a single released in 1992 titled "Something Good," which is on the Foxhole this week. And it actually they actually got permission to do the vocals for somebody who has also made an appearance on the Foxhole playlist, and that is one Kate Bush. It's a particularly good song. It should get you on your feet. Utah Saints. Another band that some people may remember, and you will know them when you hear the particular song, is a band called Metric. They're based out of Toronto. They do mostly indie rock. Several albums. Excuse me. 7 albums to their credit. Arguably their biggest hit is a single that was featured in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And at that point, you will probably know who they are. The band Clash at Demon Head in the movie covered that particular song. It's called Black Sheep. It is on the Foxhole this week as well. But this is the Metric version, the original version, Black Sheep. Now, this next one is a bit of an interesting twist. As I've mentioned before, the effort of the Foxhole playlist is to give a voice to the quote-unquote voiceless, if you will, and promote more indie artists that, don't get a lot of mainstream exposure. And I chose this one specifically because, not necessarily of the artist, but because of the song. And that's New York's own Method Man. And a lot of people may know him from his acting work, which apparently includes The Wire, the HBO show Oz, and CSI. But he's also well known for being a member of one of the seminal rap groups of the 90s, Wu-Tang Clan. But he's also done a lot of solo work, and he's collaborated with his part-time, sometime, collaborator, Redman, Method Man and Redman. I'm sure y'all have heard of that. The song that I picked this week is a particularly interesting one. It's off the Batman Forever soundtrack. I know I seem to have a soundtrack theme. As I've always said before, Usually the Foxxhole has some sort of theme behind it. And it's a song actually about a comic book villain. It's called The Riddler. And I liked it a whole lot back in the day. As a matter of fact, it's what prompted me to buy the Batman Forever soundtrack to begin with. The movie obviously has a very polarizing effect. You either like it or you really hate it. But don't think that the particular soundtrack itself is not lacking in some alternative cred. Nick Cave, PJ Harvey, and Mazzy Star also contributed songs to the soundtrack itself, but it was mostly headlined by U2 and Seal. Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me, and Kiss from a Rose, respectively. And everybody's heard the Seal song over and over and over again. So I decided to throw something a little different in here. The Riddler by Method Man. And my senior artist for this week is another one that is going to take a bit of a stretch. I included Genesis, and I'm going to tell you why. What a lot of people remember about Genesis is that, of course, it was led by Phil Collins, and it was mostly an 80s band. But what a lot of people do not know about Genesis is that up to about, from really 69 to 75, it was led not only by Peter Gabriel, who is, of course, returning to the Foxxhole this week, but it was not a pop rock band. It was actually an art rock, prog rock, progressive rock type band. It had progressive rock type roots. Peter Gabriel left the band in 1975 for a multitude of reasons, one of which his wife had just given birth, and apparently it was a very long labor. And the road itself, as I have mentioned before, was very, very taxing to him. There was also issues as far as the creative direction of the group. A lot of people felt that Peter and his antics on stage, and that was one of the things that had gotten Genesis in the very early days, especially the early to the mid 70s, got them noticed, was Peter Gabriel's outfits. Apparently he even came on stage wearing a dress and a fox head, if you can believe such a thing. But one of the great accomplishments he had is that he gave the band credibility in the terms of sales. The last two albums that he was on, Selling England by the Pound and Lambs Lie Down on Broadway, both went gold. Lambs Lie Down on Broadway was his last one with the band. I believe it was recorded in 74, released in 75. And after that, he parted ways. And of course, a lot of us know about his solo work, the 3 albums that he self-titled, and then Sew Us Up, Sledgehammer, and so on and so forth. So the senior officer for this week, Genesis, in respect to their progressive rock roots. And there you have it. Please like, share, subscribe. All the links are down below. I'm Marcus Octavius, and enjoy the list.